Good afternoon, Year 4. We are continuing our Encompass topic, looking at ancient Greece, and today we're looking at the beliefs of the people from ancient Greece. So, at the end of the lesson, your book should look something like this. Okay, so our success criteria: for paddling, we are designing a fact file of a Greek god. For swimming, we are recalling facts about those gods, and for deeper learning, for diving, we are explaining how the ancient Greeks' beliefs impacted on their daily lives. And we have our key vocabulary, which I would like you to try and use in your writing. So first things first, we have a reading extract to look at, and it says ancient Greek beliefs. Religious beliefs were central to people's lives in ancient Greece. The Greeks believed that the gods controlled the world, so they worshipped them and tried to keep them happy. Gods on earth. The ancient Greeks believed in many different gods and goddesses. I wonder if any of you can remember the name. We've been looking at this in RE as well. If you have a belief in many different gods. We looked at this in Encompass last week as well, actually. Monotheism is one god, a belief in one god. So what is many gods? Hopefully, some of you remembered it was polytheism, so well done if you did. Every god was believed to be responsible for a different part of life. Greek people would pray to different gods depending on the kind of help that they needed. The gods were believed to be immortal and have supernatural powers, but according to Greek myths, they also fell in love, had children, fought, and argued, just like humans. So remembering that word immortal, that means that they cannot die, they live forever. The gods were said to live on Mount Olympus in Greece. A family affair. Of all the Greek gods, Zeus was the most powerful. He ruled the rest of the gods from his throne on Mount Olympus. The rest of the gods were members of Zeus's family. Athena, the goddess who gave her name to Athens, was a daughter of Zeus. Athena was believed to have been born from Zeus's head after Zeus asked Hephaestus to cut it open with an axe. So, here's a list of your gods of Olympus. So we have Zeus as king of the gods, Hera, queen, Poseidon, god of the sea, Athena, goddess of wisdom, Ares, god of war, Apollo, god of music and light, Artemis, goddess of the moon, Aphrodite, love, Hephaestus, fire, Dionysus, god of wine and theatre, Hermes is messenger of the gods, and Demeter is goddess of farming. Okay, now next page then it says every city in ancient Greece held its own religious festivals throughout the year. The rest of the time people worshipped at temples or at altars in their home. So we were talking about this with the Battle of Marathon last week and Phidippides, that he went to ask the Spartans for help, but they wouldn't come because they were taking part in their religious festival. So one of the greatest temples was the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. Its ruins can still be seen today. Greeks believed this holy site was the centre of the world. It contained a theatre, a stadium, and about 20 treasuries to hold gifts that people brought for Apollo. Judgment Day. The ancient Greeks believed that the dead went to an underworld below the ground, which was ruled by Zeus's brother, the god Hades. This underworld was thought to be surrounded by rivers. To reach it, you had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to take you across on his boat. People were often buried with coins to pay Charon so that their souls wouldn't be stranded between life and death. And this picture shows Hades on his throne in the underworld. And it says, say your prayers. The ancient Greek gods were well respected, although people didn't believe they had to live a good life to make them happy. People did expect harsh punishments if they made any of the gods angry, though, so many stayed on their best behaviour just in case. Okay, so we've read that. So now, can you match the Greek god with their speciality? So pause the video. This is your anchor task, matching the god with their speciality. Okay, so when you finish this, if you look back to the reading text, you can find out whether you were right or not. Okay, so moving on to look at religion then. The ancient Greeks were a religious lot. They believed that their gods and goddesses controlled everything in the world and that they must be revered and appeased. The ancient Greek people built huge, beautiful temples and shrines where they could go to worship the gods. They also held festivals in honour of the gods, and people would pray and make offerings to them in hope of being granted good fortune in return. The ancient Greeks believed the 12 most powerful gods lived at the top of a huge mountain called Mount Olympus, which we've just read about. However, some very important gods, such as Hades, god of the underworld, did not live there. And Mount Olympus was where the gods held meetings and disputes, so arguments, were settled. And the ancient Greeks also believed in myths and legends, which we've been looking at reading this week because we've looked at the Minotaur and his battle of Theseus. And it says the ancient Greek people told many stories featuring their gods and goddesses. Many Greek myths feature scary monsters and tell tales of heroic quests. The stories helped the ancient Greek people make sense of the world and explained how things came to be. The stories were passed on orally as people did not read and write. Over time, the stories became more exciting and scary, and the characters became more heroic. They became the legends that we know today. So, your next task then, you have a temple in the middle of your page, and I want to know what we know about ancient Greek beliefs. So we've read a lot already. We had our original reading task, and we've just had some flip chart pages telling us even more. So what do you know about ancient Greek beliefs? So for example, I know that the ancient Greeks had myths and legends. I know that the gods lived in Mount Olympus, or on Mount Olympus rather, because you can't live in a mountain. Okay, so tell me everything you know about the ancient Greek beliefs. Pause the video and complete this task. Okay then, finally you are going to create a fact file about your chosen god or goddess. Okay, so I have given you a blank fact file to print off and to use, or you can design your own in your book if you don't have a printer. Okay, I have given you some ideas of those different gods. You can do your own research. I've also given you a PowerPoint to help you give more information about these gods. So I want you to choose your favourite in your own words, tell me all about them. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing some facts that I don't know. So finding your own research, okay? So make sure you send your work to your teacher after you have finished. Well done, Year 4.